when you do something terrible and the consequences of it are becoming increasingly apparent and known to the people that you're counting on to vote you back into office or to provide political support, what do? Well, you basically try to cover your tracks. You try to erase the evidence. And this is exactly what the Biden administration is doing. It has instructed the different agencies of the federal government to remove from federal websites inventories of all the weaponry that the Biden people decided to leave behind in Afghanistan. Now, I've provided a partial list of that inventory. It turns out that my list was incomplete. There's actually more stuff that we left behind. Here's the list that I mentioned. I'm just going to highlight a couple of items. 22,000 Humvees. 22,000. The 155 mine-proof vehicles. Think of this. Vehicles that can elude mines. 42,000 trucks. 64,000 machine guns. 16,000 night vision goggles. 8,000 trucks. And then 33 Mi-17 helicopters, 33 Blackhawks, 43 MDS-30s, 4 C-130 transport planes, 23 Embraers, 29 Cessna. This was the list that was available in the public domain, but it turns out that there were federal websites that listed more. I'm now quoting from an article in Forbes that looked at those websites before the websites were taken down. 75,000 war vehicles, 50,000 tactical vehicles, 1,000 mine-resistant vehicles, 600,000 weapons, including 25,000 grenade launchers. Now you can see how bad this looks. Essentially, the United States has, by design or by accident, become a state sponsor of terror. When you give terrorists weapons like this, you are weaponizing them. And that's what Biden did. And so what's he doing? He's not trying. Trump said he should try to get the weapons back. Tell the Taliban, listen, you will have a bombing mission of the kind you've never seen before, and you've seen a few, if we don't get all those weapons back. But that's not Biden's approach. Here's Biden's approach. Let's scrub the federal website so Americans can't find out all the stuff we left behind. This, by the way, has been confirmed by officials at the GAO, and the State Department. They say that they received instructions from the U.S. government to take the websites down. Now, of course, the justification is preposterous. Let me read. Quote, the State Department requested we temporarily remove and review reports on Afghanistan to protect recipients of U.S. assistance that may be identified through our reports and thus subject to retribution. So the pretense is we have to protect the names of Americans who are in Afghanistan or Afghan allies. So wait a minute, you're protecting their names? Didn't you give their names to the Afghans on a list? Didn't you give them their residential details? Didn't you give them their contact information? And now you're pretending like you're trying to protect your sources? The sheer shamelessness, I mean, the negligence, the behavior here is very difficult to account for on the part of competent people. And you only have to think for a minute, what if Trump did this? Imagine if Trump had this kind of disaster and then started scrubbing federal websites of these inventories and reports. Think of the outrage. And so what we have in America now is a kind of breakdown of political accountability. The Biden people know about this. They know they can do it. They know that apart from Forbes and one or two media outlets, by and large, the New York Times will say nothing about it. CNN will say nothing about it. And so you've got almost a coordinated phalanx of media silence, all aimed at protecting the tottering, doddering, malevolent fool that currently sits in the White House.